Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the 2H Media monthly stream. I'm Aron Murch. Joining me today is my business partner, Matthew Herschel.
What's happening?
Happy to be here.
I am too. We're in for a good one.
We've got
lots of fun stuff.
Some great topics lined up today. And you may have noticed for the first time ever, there's a banner ad along the bottom of the stream. It's for our very own Pocket Business Journal, which is now on Kickstarter. You could go find it on Kickstarter, or if you want to make things a little easier on yourself, you can just go to sprintpoint.ca/Kickstarter, and that will redirect you right to the page where the journal can be found.
The journal suite, I've got one right here. I actually show it on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
If you want to show that off real quick.
Yeah,
I will.
There it is. They look really good.
It does look good.
Yeah, it looks great.
It looks great.
It looks great.
And we're really proud of it.
Yeah, we really are. We really are. Well, we'll go through it in the stream, but yeah.
Yeah, we've got it right up and we got some discussion topics.
We've got lots here.
Our first article of discussion is not an article today. Today we are talking about Sprint Point launches the Pocket Business Journal on Kickstarter. If you've been following 2H Media closely or have ever worked with us as consultants, you may be aware of our sub-brand Sprint Point. We've always relied on structured resources to help with business planning and development. And a few years ago, we came up with the idea of releasing all of the templates we had built for our own use for free under a Creative Commons license. Thus, sprintpoint.ca was born. Over the years, one piece of feedback that we've received repeatedly is that not everyone wants to print off their own resources. Some people want a more premium and guided experience. That's why we created the Pocket Business Journal. The Pocket Business Journal is live now on Kickstarter and rapidly approaching its funding goal. If you've never backed a Kickstarter, the way it works is pretty interesting. The creator, that's us, sets a funding goal which must be met for the product to come to market. And the backers, that could include you, back the campaign with a pledge. It's kind of like a pre-order with an asterisk. If you back the campaign today, you don't get charged until the campaign ends, and then only if the funding goal was reached. And the project can be found at sprintpoint.ca/Kickstarter or kickstarter.com/project/printpoint/Pocket Business Journal.
And it's super important. And it's a little less of a mouthful. We don't get to choose Kickstarter's URL structure. And it's super affordable too. So it's not like we're asking $1 zillion here. They're really affordable. It's priced well within the market for early stage entrepreneurs, or if you've got an existing business.
I'm going to bring up the Kickstarter.
Yeah, bring it up. Bring it up.
So this has been a fun project. I've launched lots of Kickstarters before. It's the first time for 2H Media launching one. We're 4 days into this campaign. We've got 11 backers so far, and we've raised $370 of our $1,000 goal.
Yes.
Why a $1,000 goal? Well, we actually get into that further down the campaign page. We're really just testing the market on this product. We've already put a ton of investment into bringing it to market. We're pretty excited about it, and Kickstarter is allowing us to just reach a much larger audience. So this was really fun. Like I say, first Kickstarter we put together for 2H.
So this is my first Kickstarter. Like, I've been part of other Kickstarter projects. So 2H Media has done a bunch of work in the Kickstarter community. Mm-hmm. It's normally very fun. We're not the business that actually launches the Kickstarter, but we're providing resources and building the components of products that get launched. And we're
like visual assets for Kickstarter campaigns. Yeah. We've done a lot of that too.
Yeah. Advertising. Yep. The actual product itself. The stuff for Kickstarter.
But this is our first. This is your first.
This is my first time
actually running a Kickstarter.
Yeah. So Aron has got we went through the math. It's millions of dollars that Aron's helped raise. I'm at a total of 2H Media, but for me, the first one. So the pre-planning, the actual behind the scenes stuff that, what Kickstarter has you do, the marketing run up to it, the whole thing is I knew some of it, but until you're in it, you're really not jump in with both feet. And it was really it wasn't aside from the marketing, the strategy component, and all of the work that took to actually make the project. Kickstarter makes it pretty easy. The Kickstarter experience on platform has been
Pretty good. I mean,
enjoyable.
It helps that I had done most of the setup before you had to jump in.
Yes. So like there, and I mean like we're only a couple of days in, so like I still don't know what I don't know.
And
so,
I will say, it's so much better than it was back when I was running campaigns regularly in the board game space. Kickstarter was not nearly as built out back then as it is now. The actual page builder you use to put together the story of the campaign is still not to the same quality I would like for like building a website.
Yes.
But for something like this, it's perfect.
Very beginner friendly.
It makes it easy to add media. It makes it easy to add headers. It like organizes the headers into a nice menu along the left. Like it's night and day better than where it was back when I was first doing Kickstarters, and it was a frankly buggy mess. I'm a Kickstarter veteran. Matt's new to it. We recognize that a lot of our audience is probably new to Kickstarter as well. So one of the first things we added to the campaign is a new to Kickstarter, here's how to buy section.
Hey, there's a video of you.
We briefly in text walk through how to actually back the campaign, and then we included a video as well recently to make the process really clear, where I actually take you through backing the campaign from essentially beginning to end.
Yeah.
So this is the Sprint Point Pocket Business Journal. There is a video on the Kickstarter page that you can watch if you want to learn more about the product itself. We do have some actual discussion topics that we're going to go through, some discussion questions, I should say, related to this topic. So first of all, who is the Pocket Business Journal for?
Ooh. It's for a wide range of people in business. It is not... it is beginner friendly, but it is not specifically designed for a beginner only.
Correct.
So it is beginner friendly, not beginner only. I'm going to try and answer this question a little bit. I'm going to deviate a little bit. We've talked about the CDAP program before. The CDAP program was great. Lots of businesses, even going back, long-standing businesses, $1 million in revenue, lots of employees, like going back to the business fundamentals and walking even experienced business owners through it, we were able to identify just a ton of opportunities through that.
A perfect example, easily 90+% of businesses that we worked with through CDAP could not outline their value proposition.
Oh yes. Yeah, 90% easily. Almost 100. Yeah, like it would be,
and so those are super established businesses. One of the sections in the Pocket Business Journal walks you through how to create a really straightforward value proposition.
Yes.
And that's something that a lot of business owners,
beginners
even if you're at that large scale, can benefit from.
Yeah.
And when we were designing this product, part of our mentality was we didn't just want this to be like a startup tool for new businesses that you run through once and then never touch it again. All of the templates we've included in the journal are designed to be useful the first time and then useful again if you go back and revisit them on an annual basis.
Which you should. Like, I mean, if you just, there's very few set it and forget it things in business. You do need to. Your business is going to evolve. Your value proposition will evolve for that example. So who's it for? Businesses at all stages, really. There are QR codes within the journal that like kick you back to videos that Aron and I have built that give supplementary information around each section of the journal, so that if you're a little bit more beginner friendly, you need that. You might need that little hand holding. If you're not, then dive right in. But all stages. And then you could actually, even if you're not the business owner, if you were a manager of a specific branch of a company, you would just take that back and go, well, I'm not looking at the whole company, I'm looking at the finance department, the product department, whatever it is, the shipping and receiving. You could easily take this and just apply it to the individual subcategory of business as well. So it's open to a lot.
Narrowing that market down a little bit, because we really believe in targeting the right people, not trying to say our product is for everyone. Really, this is for business owners that want more structure in both their day-to-day and how they view their business. If you're happy firing from the hip and you've got a business that's running smoothly and you don't know exactly what your value proposition is or who your user personas might be or what a user persona even is, and that doesn't sound appealing to you, then this product's not for you. But if you've been running a business for a while and you've got like an idea of who your customers are, but you want to be able to clearly express that to your team or your advertising partners or refer back to that when you're trying to build out your marketing materials, that's the type of business owner that's going to be a really good fit for. Someone who needs more structure in their business, from planning the fundamentals, from like right down to like, why are you in business? What are you hoping to get out of this? What does your business do really well? Who are your customers? And then what do you have to do every month in order for it to be successful?
Yeah. So that's actually really, that leads into perfectly into the next question, which is what sets the Pocket Business Journal apart from other journals? There's not a lot of fluff here. We've cut down. So we obviously, before we built this, we looked at what was in the market.
Yep. And we won't name any.
No.
There's some great other options out there, especially if you're,
of course,
if you're in the ideation stage where you're just like, I'd really like to open a business someday. There's some other journals on the market that ask really great sort of aspirational questions about, wow, what could this business do for your life? What do you want it to do? How are you going to help people?
Things like that. Yeah.
We really went back to the templates that we were already getting a ton of use out of on a consulting basis and sharing with people through SprintPoint.
Yep.
And we really just packaged those in a way that if you go through them in order, it makes a lot of sense. We included extra information beyond what's on the website in terms of explaining those resources. Yep. And then we went so far as to, like you alluded to earlier, we created a web page to go with every single section in the journal where you can scan a QR code. And when you visit that web page, it's going to bring up a video overview of that section of the journal, a completed example that we filled out using a restaurant as an example company.
Yep.
And then additional commentary by us around the resource as a whole and why it's so impactful. So
there's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
It's not a super thick journal, but the content that's included is weightier than what you typically get in our experience from like a business planning journal.
And it's not, we wanted to cut some of the fluff out of it because we know that, like, again, our audience, they're busy. If you wanted to value structure, we don't want you to have, we wanted to make sure each page had value. So the goal wasn't to make the biggest journal.
Yeah.
And the longest journal and the one with like the most pages. No, we wanted to say, like, here's what you should have absolutely nailed down. And by and large, it should act as a communication tool, sharing your thoughts and ideas and outcomes with other team members within the business. So
it's also just a really nice physical product.
It is. So,
we got some early manufacturing samples back. The quality of the cover, the
cover is great.
Really nice.
We've put this in the hands of a few people. Again, we've done a very, very, very small order in terms of like getting some here, making sure the quality's high, making sure this all works. But how this started was, obviously SprintPoint has been around for a few years. We started with what we knew was working, which was like, we've got thousands of downloads on the resources on SprintPoint, and we said, let's go and create beyond like a printable template. So we started with what we knew, and then we said, hey, like, what else are we actually putting in there? So it's really, really good. You can't actually see it, but it's got a nice like fibrous texture. It's beautiful and blue, and it's very, very like business focused. You're not going to get like the full experience through camera, but like when I look at it, it's not soft touch. It's got like a cloth touch, a linen feel. It's cool. It's really cool. The inlay's cool. Pages are really great to write on. You're not going to get any bleed through. It's cool. It's very, very good paper. It's thick enough that it's not going to, you're not going to write in here with crayon, but at the same time, it's very, very good.
I had some back and forthing with the manufacturer when we were planning this project. They were asking about the paper we selected, and they're like, well, don't you want like a glossy finish? I'm like, no, because people need to be able to write in this.
Yeah, it's a journal. It's got to be
a matte finish to the paper.
I have, it's funny you mentioned, I have like a notebook, not a journal, it's just like a blank notebook, and it's beautiful. Glossy pages look great.
But they're horrible.
And I took it with me to a meeting, and I had it. It was a brand new thing. I'm like, oh, cool, I got to start a new book for notes. And then I opened it up. I'm like, oh, these are nice pages. And I even got a compliment from the client I was with. And then I go to start writing on it with pen. I was like, oh my God, like, okay, it's like back in the bag.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that's, designed not with usage in mind. This is designed so that you're going to write in this with any kind of pen, pencil, something like that. It's, there's a couple of spots where it's actually designed for sketches. So you're actually going to put something in, and we had an artist actually put some sketches in the example, and it's great. You can actually draw on it. So
that's just for like the user personas.
The user personas, yeah. Like, but you could draw technically if you were to do something in the notes field. Like if you wanted to draw something, a particular thing in your business, easily to do.
Let's talk a little bit about Kickstarter itself. First of all, like why we launched on the platform. When we brought the Pocket Business Journal to Kickstarter, it really wasn't about raising the funds. Like 2H Media is doing well enough. We could have just funded this project the same way we funded everything else SprintPoint has done over the years. It was really about reach more than anything. We know that there's an audience of people that are on Kickstarter that would not have seen this product if we just like put it up through the Sprint Point store and started selling it directly right from the get-go. So we wanted to tap into that Kickstarter audience. It was also a great opportunity for us to start building a presence on the Kickstarter platform, so that if we run more of these down the line, we can show a history of funding and fulfilling products successfully, outside of what I've got from like the previous companies I worked with. So there's like a lot of intangible benefits to launching a product like this on Kickstarter, other than just saying like, oh hey, we're looking for money, because that really wasn't the focus of this campaign.
That's why we look at the funding goal. It's not like we're not asking for $1 zillion. It's also a practice what you preach thing. Like we have guided many other businesses on like, hey, if you want to test an idea, you're going to have to obviously put some money into advertising, and you're going to have to do a bunch of photography and all the things that you're going to do anyways, but like go out and get some early adoption and go out and actually do it. And I mean, obviously Kickstarter is going to take a cut. People can complain about that, but like if you can find a better way to like launch a product that, like, we're very sure of this, but if you are not sure of something, go and try it. Like the risk is very much mitigated doing it this way.
Yes and no, because like creating the assets to run a successful campaign can take quite an investment.
It can.
In our case, we're lucky because we are already video producers. So like, for example, the video for the campaign, if someone else were to pay for that video, it would have cost them more than our funding goal is.
Yes, it would have cost, yes.
Right? So like, it is.
But if you were to create an ad, whether it's a Kickstarter ad or something on Google or something on YouTube, there's going to be some level of minimum investment anyways. And it should be
way less than just going and paying for a full manufacturing run out of pocket when you haven't tested the idea.
That would be don't buy a whole container of stuff.
The place where a lot of people get tripped up is that they're so invested in their idea that even if it flops on Kickstarter, they say, well, I'm going to manufacture it anyway and just bring it to market, or I'm going to put my own money into the campaign so that we can show that it funded.
And that's okay, because like Kickstarter's not the perfect audience for every product. Like that would be, that's ridiculous to say. We know plenty of companies
But the goal is, if you're going to try to get the right value out of Kickstarter, set a reasonable funding goal, and then like stick by that funding goal. Try to hit it, give it your best shot, and if you can't make that work, the product might not be the right fit for the market.
Absolutely.
What are our thoughts on the launch of the Kickstarter campaign before we move on to our next topic? So I'm going to go back to
the
sharing on.
I'll share my initial thoughts, because like Aron obviously has got a different view on things. Really cool. They send Kickstarter. Obviously, like I'm an admin on the Kickstarter page. They send you like an email every morning, like here's where your funding goal's at. So like I don't wake up to it, but it's like, I think it's like 10:30 a.m. or something like that, and it's like here's all the activity, and there's like notifications on. I'm not sure if you can actually see the.
What are you looking for?
Yeah. So you can't see it on the screen, but in the emails it actually breaks down on the back end that you can't see on this screen. It actually walks you through who's backed.
Well, sure. You wouldn't want that to be publicly accessible.
I wanted to make sure. I'm like, okay.
We are looking at the publicly facing campaign page.
So on the if you're interested in the back end, we can't show it to you, but it does break down who's bought, who's backed, the people. Like it does give you some.
And before you access that information, you have to certify that you're not going to like pull the information, advertising or anything.
Because I made that click, and I was like, what the heck is this? And I had to read the terms, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. Yep. Yeah. So. And then what's actually really cool, why don't we actually bring that up too, because you can actually see it on the page. We were
a project we love.
Yeah, so like that's
we were
great.
Super excited about that.
So before we get into that, when you launch a campaign, when you launch a Kickstarter, it is just a Kickstarter. At that point, Kickstarter's actually got its own employees, obviously, and they go out and look at Kickstarters, and they go and kind of put their stamp of approval on them by projects we love. So I woke up like the second, third morning, and I got this thing like, oh, congratulations. Like I was like, that's never happened, because it's my first one. I'm like, oh, that's really, really cool. So someone else, so shout out to Kickstarter for doing that.
Yep. I don't, now to be totally transparent, I don't actually know if they do any of that algorithmically or if that is totally manual. I wouldn't be surprised if they have like an algorithm that picks them and then maybe a human
vets them. I don't know. But it was cool.
But it was really cool to be identified as a project we love by Kickstarter. Yep. What that does is it brings more visibility to the campaign.
Yeah. So, and there's like a sorting feature in Kickstarter. You can see like the stuff that's. I don't know what specifically we did. It's not like a toggle in the back that you can just. Yeah. It's not like I can prompt them to go review our things. They do. This is something to mention. They do review your project prior to launch, so it's not like you can just launch something without. So there's a review period where Kickstarter, and I don't know if that's algorithmically or a person as well, but they review the project before you can just launch, which I think keeps the quality of projects high.
If the timing had worked out that way, it would have been kind of fun to take people on a behind-the-scenes tour of this project before we kicked it off.
Oh, the next one we're going to do that.
Right? Where we take people through, okay, here's where we actually go to build the campaign, and we're submitting it to Kickstarter for approval, and if all goes well, next time we talk to you, it'll be a live campaign. That'd be fun.
Next time.
Next time?
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think there would be some interest in getting...
Because this is the thing, like, let's be totally transparent. This topic is an advertising spot for us. We released a product, and we want to talk about it on our stream. That's one of the benefits to having a stream. But we also are trying to mix in a little bit of education and a little bit of like story around the platform, because like we just are not built to do pure sales for anything we talk about.
Plus, like, who doesn't like behind the scenes?
Sure, yeah. So if we can include more behind the scenes next time, I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with the launch of this Kickstarter. We haven't made like crazy amounts of money yet. We didn't really expect to.
That's okay.
We have 11 backers on the campaign. That's 11 people we might not have reached if we had just launched this campaign on Shopify.
There's a lot of people, and again, I'll say this, there's a lot of people that I know that haven't backed, but they got our advertising. They're like, oh my goodness, we didn't even know you were doing this. It's like, oh yeah, like, because
to that point, if you think this is a cool thing and you'd like to see it do well on Kickstarter, and maybe you're a fan of the things we do on Sprint Point, but you don't think the product is for you, and you're not going to back the campaign, we would love for you to give it a share on social media. Anything to help bring more awareness to what we're doing with Sprint Point and with this product would be super awesome.
Yeah.
That would make a big difference. So this is the Pocket Business Journal. It's designed to help you turn your ideas into action. And I think we can move on to our next discussion topic.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I like it.
Do you want to read us into the next one?
I will.
Which is still talking about us.
I will.
In a different sense.
Yeah, this was, excuse me, I've got a little tickle that's not going away. Okay. Last stream, so 2H browser shakeup result. So last month, Google updated their app ecosystem and put an end to the full version of popular adblock uBlock Origin on Google Chrome. Since we rely on this ad blocker, we drove our team to look for a Google Chrome alternative. During our March stream, we committed to trialing Firefox. I was trialing Firefox, and Aron was trialing Brave browser for 1 month. Now that the month has passed, we're ready to share our thoughts on the switch. Cool. Cool. So diving right in, what were some of the things that we liked about the change in browser? I'll start with you first. You had a bigger change than I had, so I'll give
you. What are some of the things we liked about the change to Brave browser? It was pretty smooth. I really didn't have too many roadblocks. I like that the ad blocking is built in by default. I like that because it is based on Chromium, I believe, it pulls a lot of my data directly over from Google Chrome, so I didn't really have to do much setup.
Okay, that's good.
Like a lot of my plugins just came with me when I moved over to the new browser, so that was really nice. My experience on websites was really straightforward. There's some little things I like that it has indicators of like how much bandwidth it has saved me and like how much time it has saved me by blocking some of the ads it blocks. That's just kind of a fun feature. I don't get a ton of value out of it, but I enjoy it.
Do you remember like how much it saved you? Was it like anything substantial?
I could probably find it. There we go. So if I share screen real quick, so I have set the like Brave, like I don't know what they call this screen, but it's customizable and it's got like some of your like most visited sites.
Okay.
I set this as my homepage. So like it's not I'm not using the browser as my homepage. I'm using just this screen as my homepage.
Those metrics are sweet.
And it tells me right there. So like it's blocked since I've been using it. 15,774 trackers and ads.
Holy!
So it tells me it saved me 563.9 megabytes and 14 minutes over the last month. Now, are any of those numbers verifiable? I don't know. I could maybe look into it. I'm not going to. It's just kind of fun to see it.
If that number was higher, I'd really want to, like, 14 minutes over a month isn't crazy. If I had a huge organization, maybe, but...
Sure.
That's cool that at least it gives you...
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I didn't get that experience with Firefox.
I will say, as cool as this is, I may still change my homepage over to Google.
The homepage over to Google?
And
just because it starts on a Google search? Or like, what's
the reason for that is really dumb. And this is maybe just a me thing. So like, feel free to tell me if you think I could do this smarter. Some of my most commonly accessed websites are the different Google properties. Because our entire infrastructure is Google,
Yeah.
I'm constantly needing to access Google Sheets, Gmail,
Calendar.
Google Drive, Calendar, Google Docs, and I have found, so there's this block here on...
So I see Sheets, I see Calendar.
Yeah, and what I haven't been able to get it to do yet is...
And Gmail. So 3 out of the 6.
What I haven't been able to get it to do yet is let me like actually customize this manually and then stay that way. Because like, in theory, I'm supposed to be able to edit what shows up here, but it's mostly just populating this from like random sites I have visited. And like ChatGPT, I visit ChatGPT maybe like twice a month. So there's no reason for it to be in that list. I visit the Sheridan co-op portal very rarely. So like, how it's determining what site should be here doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Zoom makes sense.
And like, really, I just want my Google properties here. And then like, my search is already set up for Google. I wasn't a big fan of the like search baked into Brave. They lean into the AI search even harder than Google does.
Ew.
And it's just, it's not a feature that I find useful. I prefer my Google searches to return like websites. And I often find Google's search engine is still better than their search engine, which shouldn't be surprising. Google makes really good search engines.
Yeah.
But overall, my experience with the browser has been pretty smooth.
So like likewise, so on my end, going from Chrome to Firefox, I had to do that anyways in my day-to-day. Chrome gives me some trouble accessing some of the financial institutions we work with for whatever reason. I've been on support with banks a ton of times, so I have to use a different browser for that anyways. Part of my work this month, I actually had to go and find a bunch of ads, which was actually more difficult on Firefox.
Sure.
So I had to go back to Chrome to like just do the work because I needed ads to display. So I was going through some stuff because So they do a really good job of, Mozilla did a really good job of like keeping my experience nice and clean.
Mm-hmm.
It does all the things I needed to do. I'm not sure if I could do this in Firefox, but it's the same thing. I use the Google app ecosystem, I don't know, 100 times a day.
Yeah.
It's a lot. We use... And
like, to be clear,
it is what it is.
I could just add all of those Google properties as bookmarks and like show them in my bookmark file.
And that's what I would have to do as well.
I've just been dragging my feet on it because it's just one more thing to set up, and I would have to reorganize the bookmarks that I already have built in on there. I probably could. There's a bunch of these that are out of date that I don't use ever or very often, and I could probably put them into a folder or just get rid of some of them.
So I really didn't face, like that was the really only challenge. There was like a small little thing going, okay, well the button's not on the left side, it's on the right side now. Okay, fine. So there was some comfort things that I was like, oh, I'm always looking up there and I should be looking over here. So like that would have changed if I had done this more. The pattern, like the user pattern would have changed. I honestly, other than that, I had a very, very similar experience. Like I had a better experience on Firefox just because I had less ads.
Sure.
All of the other, like our password manager still work. Like all of our other things work on that browser, so there wasn't like a big.
I'll jump to our third question before I come back to the challenges because I had some challenges with mine. Okay. But the third question: how different was the experience from Google Chrome for you?
It was just.
Or was it basically identical?
It was identical, but like I don't want to just skirt the question. It was like interesting not seeing Google all over the place. Like I see a Google icon, a Google product. A Google product is in my face 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like I mean,
we're in Google Docs right now.
We're in Google Docs right now. So like, so there's a lot of that. On top of that, like I do a lot on Google Ads. Like normally, without Google, my day-to-day impact would be heavily different.
Yeah.
So it was just weird, just like even having that, just having a different symbol on my bar that I wasn't used to seeing. I caught myself a few times like, what the heck is going through the programs on my what the heck? Oh yeah, that's my browser, because I'm just not even used to seeing that.
Yeah. Well, and so funnily enough, you're actually in Chrome right now.
I know. Yeah, I'm back in Chrome. Yeah, I'm back in Chrome now. Yeah, because like when So
coming back to that in a minute, then I did face some annoying challenges with the Switch. I faced two big ones. One of them is the software was defaulting into opening me back up to the last website I visited when I opened up the browser again.
Oh.
And I find that really annoying. Now, it took me 2 minutes to go and turn off that setting, which was great.
Okay.
But like as a default behavior, no. We've had home pages for as long as I've been using the internet. I just want to open my home page when I open, like when I close my work and I open it up again. I don't want it to go back to what I was doing before. I want it to be fresh.
Yeah.
I was running into the same thing with Notepad.
So wait a minute. When you click new tab, it would open up that.
No, if I had closed the whole thing down
and you opened it back up,
it would open me up to whatever site I was on previously.
Oh.
Which is just like not.
It's like I closed that.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And I'm sure there are people who love that workflow because like.
Oh, I bet there are.
If you're in the middle of something and like you have to shut it down. And
5 p.m.
And then you like open it all up again next time you're at work and like it fires back up. And I think it even opened like a couple of my tabs from the previous session. So like I can see why there are people who would like that. But for me, the way my work day develops, typically I have like a set of windows I open in the beginning of my day.
Closing out.
And then, I open up random things because I'm working on different websites or in different projects. And then like I don't want the latest things I was working on opening. So you know what would be actually really a really sick setting? If you could have a standard set of tabs that opens every time you power it up. Wouldn't that?
So that would be amazing. So if I could set that, so like that's exactly why I like the Chrome experience, because like, okay, great. When I open my day, it's like I just know how the day starts every day.
Yeah.
It's like bing, bing, bing.
But you even on Chrome, you had to open those tabs.
I had to open the menu.
So,
I would love to just know.
To be like,
open the laptop and like it knows.
Yeah, it
I
fires
tell
up
it
to
those things. Airtable, Gmail, calendar. Like I've got those.
If I could get greedy, imagine if you could set windows where based on the time of day, it opens up to specific tabs, right? So like if I
Google, if you're listening,
like wouldn't that
any of them are you listening?
Cool?
That would be really cool if you could have that. Yes, that would be. I'm playing that in my day, and I'm like, oh, that would be really, really sweet. Oh, so what you can't see, stream, is there. I have 4 monitors.
Because like if it just did its thing, and I've clocked out, and I want to just like look something up, and I open up my browser, I just want to open it like my search engine.
Right.
But if it's like first thing in the morning, and I'm like setting in my work day, I would love to click my browser, and it opens up.
Welcome.
My like.
It's like Jarvis opens up, and it's like, good morning, sir, and it's just like it's Tuesday. And then on Saturday, it's like it doesn't open up all your work. It's like, hey, check out like your.
Yeah.
That would be
cool.
That would be cool. That would be cool. That's not even greedy. Like that is.
Well, it's a little bit greedy because I'm asking for more features on top of the more features I'm asking for.
It's.
And as it is, just opening to the last thing I used isn't useful enough, so I just turned it off.
That's cool. I would like that. That would make the start of my day. Let's sit down, got your coffee, you open the laptop.
It would be a
it's just like
improvement, but it would be nice to have.
It would be, yeah. It just feels cool. It feels like the temperature outside is 17 degrees and shoulder length waves. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
The other challenge I ran into, is not the fault of Brave Browser at all. This has nothing to do with Brave Browser, and I would have run into the same problem on Firefox. I would have run into the same problem on Safari, Opera, you name it. I have not yet been able to log into Facebook or Instagram or any meta property on this browser. Because every time I try to log in, because it's a new browser, it tells me it's going to send me a notification that I have to approve in either Google Chrome or on my phone.
That's actually really good. Spend less time on Facebook.
Except that it does not send me that notification. I don't know where to find the notification. I haven't found it on Chrome, haven't found it on my phone. So I'm going to have to do some Googling to find out if there's a way I can turn that off or force those notifications to show up.
Okay.
But that's been the biggest challenge for me, is that like every time I want to go back into Facebook to like, often I'll send an image to myself in the Facebook chat just to get it off my phone and onto my computer. If I want to open up Facebook and do that, well, I have to go on Chrome because I haven't gotten Facebook set up on this yet.
Okay.
Which just goes to show how fast time flies, because it's been a month of using this browser and I haven't like found time to sit down and fix that issue.
It's been a busy month.
Yeah.
Do we tend to stick with these browsers? I have to, because like I use Chrome and Firefox interchangeably, like every week. I could permanently switch to. I can't permanently switch to Firefox because it doesn't, like, for the research work we do in the advertising space, I don't get enough ads displaying through to keep track of it. But
that's not really the question, though.
That would be it.
For your daily driver primary browser,
I'd have to do some setup to get it fully fixed, fully switched over.
Okay.
And like I'm trying to justify the time spent to no.
I am absolutely switching and staying.
You're gonna switch to Brave. You're gonna switch.
I'm not going to go back to Google Chrome if they're not going to give me the ad blocking.
Oh, right. Yes. That's
right.
Yes.
So the question is not like, will you fire up the other one when you want to see ads?
I just spent a month not getting ads, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
Right? So like it blows my mind that you're like, wow, to switch permanently.
No. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, getting caught in the. I had a good experience.
Okay.
And I was equating that. Yeah.
Do we think that the company needs to specifically be on Brave or Firefox? I don't think so.
I don't think there's any like true value. Like, if you really like the ad experience on Google, do what you like. I like not seeing, and this is coming from an ads agency. This is true of every person that's displaying an ad. You should only be showing ads to a relevant audience, and like I get all kinds of weird things. I don't have a family. I get like diaper ads on Amazon Prime, like interrupting my stuff. Like I was like, okay, this is just like, what are we doing here? I don't have a child. There's no.
I've been getting wedding ring ads. The algorithm's trying to get me hitched.
That's someone else in your household making searches. That's now infecting. Yeah, that's hilarious. That is funny. So yeah, I would say I would intend to. I have to do a little bit, but yeah, I liked the non-invasive ad experience.
Yeah,
it was good. I'm also not like browsing a whole bunch of sites that are ad heavy. Like, you're not going to get out of like seeing the ads like the in-stream ads in a YouTube video. You're not gonna.
You blocks in stream. Well, sorry, you mean
stream, like
you mean sponsor segments.
Sponsor segments, like
yeah,
like
you actually can. You can get sponsor block and like automatically skip those.
That's wild.
Okay. There's like a plugin that'll do it. I don't know if it still works on Chrome with the latest update, but like there's definitely software that does it. I actually don't mind getting the sponsor segments when I watch YouTube videos. So like,
typically they're
played with it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and read us into our next topic.
Yeah, the next one is fun.
We've touched on this enough.
Next one's like the biggest set of headlines in a little while.
This one's pretty big.
Yeah.
So, what happens to your DNA data now that 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy?
Yeah.
The struggling genetic testing company 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy, and its co-founder and CEO has resigned. Now its millions of customers are wondering what happens to their genetic data and whether it's secure. 23andMe was founded in 2006 with a promise to revolutionize the future of genetics and healthcare. The company became known for its saliva-based DNA testing kits, purchased by millions of customers. Eager to learn more about their ancestry and later dive further into health research and drug development. But it has an uncertain future. But it has faced an uncertain future for some time. Beyond battles to go private, the company struggled to find a profitable business model since going public in 2021. Then in 2023, hackers exposed the personal data of nearly 7 million 23andMe customers over a 5-month period, dealing a major blow to the company's reputation and compounding its growth problems. 23andMe says it plans to continue operating. In an open letter to customers posted Sunday, the company wrote that orders and subscriptions will continue as normal, and any purchases or genetic testing kits sent in for processing will be handled without disruption. 23andMe added that customers still have full access to their accounts, reports, and stored data. Though the company's privacy policies say that the data could be sold to other firms, 23andMe says customer data will remain protected. In its recently updated privacy policies, the company writes that if it is involved in a bankruptcy, merger, acquisition, reorganization, or sale of assets, your personal information may be accessed, sold, or transferred as part of that transaction, and this privacy statement will apply to your personal information as transferred to the new entity. However, the company has said that the bankruptcy process will not affect how it stores, manages, or protects customer data. Its open letter to customers stated that any buyer of 23andMe will be required to comply with applicable law with respect to the treatment of customer data. And this article comes from CBC.
Super not surprising.
There's a lot to digest there. First discussion question, would we be concerned about our DNA being out there in a database?
I could make a joke here about...
We're not going to.
We won't. I would be concerned. Like, so I've given blood. I've done a bunch of stuff medically. I've got, a Life Labs profile being in Ontario. Like, I would imagine some level of my data is controlled by the government.
Yep.
To what extent that is controlled, I don't know. I've never looked into it. Would I be concerned about it? A little bit. It's data. I don't know how much they've got on me. I've never gone through the 23andMe experience. I don't know what data they get on someone else. But let's just play this out. If I had an underlying condition, and that DNA that the saliva swab that I send in says, oh, I've got this underlying thing, and I'm going to be at risk for X and Y. And now that data that is being aggregated and sold to a pharmaceutical company that produces drug that solves X and Y, well, they're going to say, yeah, great. I want all of that customer information because I want to go get those customers. And I don't want a random company having my healthcare information, period.
Sure.
I don't want anyone knowing about, other than my doctor, other than my healthcare professionals, you shouldn't get access to you shouldn't get access to my stuff. So that's my belief.
I'm less concerned about it as a Canadian than I would be if I was an American. And the big reason...
Most of them are going to be American.
Yeah.
Most of them are going to be American, yeah.
And the big thing I've heard thrown around about this is if insurance companies buy that data, they could start using it to drop clients.
No,
and now you don't have health insurance.
They won't even drop them. They'll just say your premiums tripled.
Well, they do both. Look at all the insurance companies that aren't insuring the areas that have had fires.
Oh yeah, they're gonna.
If they smell risk, they're gonna run.
Yep, they're either gonna charge you at the wazoo or they're gonna run and like.
And if they can show a link to someone, it doesn't even have to be your DNA. If they can see that someone in your family carries a genetic marker for something that's potentially hereditary, like you might lose your insurance coverage because this data is out there and being accessed by insurance companies. Now, that's not what's happening currently, but like it's all over the article.
The writing is on the wall.
The privacy policies say it can be sold.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to buy it? I would think that insurance companies would have some of the most interest in it. For example,
insurance companies, healthcare company, like anyone that is going to use. And again, I don't know to the level of what data was collected through that process, and how much DNA and all of the things. But like, if you've got, and again, from what I know about genetic sequencing, like it's huge. So I don't know what I don't know. I just know that like there are companies out there that are going to try and make money.
Yeah.
And this is just a very, very non-ethical way to make money, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's not what you signed up. Technically, that's what you signed up for.
Well, that's totally what you signed up for.
That's what you signed up for. That is what you signed up for.
You sent them the DNA. You gave them the data.
So this is
customer. Or although if one of your relatives went and did it, it's not what you.
It's not what you signed up for.
And now you're just as on the hook as they are.
It's very
information is out there.
It's
the cat's
very
out of the bag.
The cat's out of the bag. It's very similar to having a tracker in your car to monitor driving behavior. You have now given away that data in the hopes that you'll save 6%. But like, I wouldn't want to give up that data, period. Like, you don't have, So I would be concerned. I don't know. I think there's more protections in the EU because this was a global company. Like you could have, I'm pretty sure, Japan and South Korea. Like, I'm sure you could have sent in your DNA from all over the place.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone in your family that's done it?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
From both my immediate family and like I've got relatives on. Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second. Did you learn anything? Like, was the initial product as advertised? Did they learn anything by doing it?
I don't want to get into it because it relates to information that is not mine to share.
Okay. I just mean, like, did you think they got value out of it? Did you think they got value out of using the service 23andMe?
I would say some of them did.
Okay, so some of them did.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is probably not what they wanted. No one wanted this to happen to their data.
Yeah.
So
I think it's also worth acknowledging these days that data gets out.
oh yeah, well,
Right?
data.
You can only be so secure, and we have to recognize that nothing is truly secret in 2025. This is not one of our discussion topics for today, but really recently, the guy who runs the site Have I Been Pwned?
Oh,
Which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's a website that you can go in and you can look up your information and you can find out if any of your passwords have been leaked in any of the major data breaches. So like if you're using the same password on a dozen different websites and one of those websites had a security breach, you can go to this website and find out if your password was among the ones that was accessed in that breach, and that tells you I better go to all these other 12 websites where I use the same password and change it.
don't use the same password
Because hackers could potentially have access to that information.
They got your email and a password, and now they're just going to try it.
The reason I bring this up is because really recently the guy who runs that site fell for a phishing email.
So
he
he
was
himself
just-
got pwned.
He
Oh,
was just
no.
tired one night and he got caught up in it. And like, you can't be any more on the pulse
than that
guy, and he still fell for it. The data still got out there. Humans are the weakest link in data security.
Brutal.
And this is the world we live in
Yep.
now, right? The data is going to get out.
Typically, they don't hack the computer; they hack the person.
Yeah.
They're not getting in through an algorithm. Yeah, like they do, but like really not.
So speaking of what's typical,
Wow.
how unusual is this update to the privacy policy? And it's a kind of a loaded question. The answer is it's not. It's not unusual.
It's not unusual at all.
Companies update privacy policies constantly. We've been looking into AI note taking because it's great. It's got great applications for the kind of business we run, where it can save us a ton of time in our meetings and allow us to take more effective notes. Every single AI note taking company we've looked at has privacy policy that some of them are pretty good in terms of like saying, oh, we're not going to use your data for training AI. We're not going to use it for this, that, and the next thing. But they all reserve the right to update the policy at any time. And some of them go so far as to say they're not even responsible for updating you when they change the policy. You've got to go check it yourself. So like companies changing their privacy policies is super common. And this goes back to what I was saying about the fact that data gets out there. There are not really any secrets.
And again, like even if back to like even the article, if 23andMe is public company and they've got the minute that they're acquired, which could happen as a public company every day, you could have someone come in and buy a bunch of shares.
Yep.
And buy a bunch of shares, and it could be aggressive or it could become, and then now they own the thing.
Yeah.
And now they own it. And it's not like they get to like exclude the data they collected. That's part of the reason the acquisition happened. Now, I don't know how easy it would be to remove yourself from that data set. Probably impossible. They're probably not just letting you delete their business of collecting information. But yeah, from the privacy policy stuff, like I get an email once a week.
Yeah.
Hey, we've updated our terms and conditions, and it'll be like Google, or it'll be Adobe, or it'll be like whatever. And do I read it?
Well, we talked about this on the last stream too, right?
Yeah.
Should you read the privacy policies? Yes, but how often are you going to read them?
How often are you going to read them? I would get not a lot of work done that day if I've got to read 60 pages of this, trying to find the difference between last month's
Across
change.
probably like 50 software systems we use. Like as a company that's invested in technology,
we can't even do that. Like it's impossible. So, again, not unusual, not surprising.
Speaking of the technology we use, one of the big ones that we're really invested in is YouTube.
Yep.
All these videos go out on YouTube. We use it for a ton of our promotion. It's part of our video nurture series. It's been really good to us. YouTube.
Oh, you want to move into the next one? Huh? You want to? Okay.
YouTube is about to eclipse Disney as the biggest media company in the world.
Insane.
And this is the way this is written. I'm pretty sure it's an opinion piece. This came from Business Insider.
And what that really should read is Google.
They kind of get into that in the article. So we'll go through it. So YouTube is about to eclipse Disney as the biggest media company in the world. You're still not paying enough attention to YouTube. I know. Some of you know that YouTube is not just a big force in media, but one of the biggest. But most folks, even people who make their living in media, don't fully get how big YouTube is, even though we keep pointing it out over and over and over. In the original article, those all link to more articles. So if you want to do like a deep dive on this, hit up Business Insider. The link is on screen right now.
We'll put it on the video.
We're not. I don't think we do. So you shouldn't promise that.
Oh, well.
Because that's more work that I've got to communicate to Genesis, and I don't think that happens.
Well, it's on the screen. It's on the screen.
It's on the screen.
You can see it.
And you could find it by Googling this article. It would not be hard. So, anyways, if you want to do deep dive on this, you can find more on Business Insider. And we don't take the full article either. So, like, we just take some of the highlights. Anyway, they pointed it out over and over and over. So let's try it again. This time, courtesy of MoffettNathanson analyst Michael Nathanson. Measured by revenue, YouTube was the second biggest media company in the world last year. It brought in $54.2 billion in 2024, just $5.5 billion behind Disney. And in 2025, Nathanson predicts YouTube should eclipse Disney and become the biggest media company in the world. If you wanted to, you could quibble with Nathanson's groupings. You could argue that Google itself is actually the biggest media company in the world, since it generates close to $350 billion in annual revenue, the majority of which comes from ads, or that Meta, which generated $160 billion in ad sales last year, is also much bigger. You could also point out, in his comparison, Nathan has pulled out Disney's $30+ billion a year parks business, which is a huge part of Bob Iger's empire, and one that's directly connected to its media properties. But like I said, quibbles. The point is that YouTube commands an extraordinary amount of time and interest from its users, who are no longer just kids, but everyone.
Yep. What's wild with this, I want to add to that. So my parents, who are in their 60s, they spend probably 3 hours a day on YouTube. They watch more YouTube than TV. They watch like hockey and sports and golf and tennis and all of the things on TV. But like they have channels that they follow on home construction and fishing and outdoor stuff and product reviews and healthy living, and then like they get the email notification saying, hey, so-and-so has updated another video, and they watch it. And we laugh about them all the time because they're like, they used to say, oh, this is not going to take off, you're watching that you're on that computer again. It's like they are
just like
in
your
it.
dad when you use
I should. But like that's it. It's like, Dad, you're on your tablet again. What are you watching? Oh, so-and-so. And he's like, as if I know the names of the channels he watched. So they're building a boat. It's like, sweet. And he'll watch every, So like it's a crazy amount of attention with people with actual buying power. This is not a 5-year-old watching a TV program. It is a person with their entire life savings at their disposal consuming content. It's wild. I bug them a lot. It's incredible. So what are your thoughts on quibbles?
On the quibbles. So the quibbles.
On the quibbles.
The quibbles being that Google is actually a huge company, and Disney is actually a bigger company than implied by the report, and that Facebook also comes in there. Those are some like really valid points.
Even then, add the $30 billion a year to the parks, and if you want to get like really add all the numbers up and go, okay, great, maybe it's not going to eclipse them.
Well,
but
if you add the $30 billion, they go from being $5.5 billion behind to being $35.5 billion
but
behind.
It's still like you're second place.
But then like also if you include the rest of Google's revenue, they're like way bigger.
Way bigger. So like even if you said second, so let's just say it's not going to. Let's just say it's second. It's second.
Yeah.
It's huge, and from a business standpoint, you're not going to be able to get your business into Disney's ecosystem.
That's really good.
You're not about to go and it's like media company that's are you going to go get your ads into Disney parks? No.
Well, it's funny you say that. We have actually worked with a company that's in Disney.
Yes.
Because the maple syrup company we used to work with was sold in the pavilion in Disney.
Yes. So you can, but most businesses, we've actually, off stream, I'll tell you, we actually, Ali's uncle's an animator for Disney.
Right.
He did Jafar, and it's super cool. Like, so huge empire.
So what you're saying is we're going to get him doing like secrets.
That's sweet.
Secrets,
animations for
scenes. Like if you pause at 33 seconds, you see the 2H media logo for just a split
second. So like, is it accessible media? No, it's not. No. It's really not. If you are a company that sells, granola bars, sure, you might be able to get it into a thing, but like that will be very rare. You sell anything else, you're not doing that.
So like, put simply, like in terms of like the quibbles, I think the takeaway from this article is that YouTube is one of the big players.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where they fall on that list specifically. They are big, they are broadly applicable, and you should be taking YouTube seriously.
Yeah. And everyone says, oh, I want to, we hear this conversation 50 times a week. Oh, SEO, 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 how do I appear atop of Google? Okay, Google is search engine. We want to be at the top of Google. Oh, sure, who doesn't? YouTube is a search engine. Do you not also want to be at the top of that search engine?
Yep.
So that when they type in something, 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 your content pops up? It's a massive search engine. And it's obviously got bigger barrier to entry because you need video assets.
Yep.
But would you rather someone come into your website, your average website watch time is what? 2 minutes, 30 seconds maybe? Average watch time on a YouTube video? Probably 17 minutes.
There's also another angle to this that I want to share. This is really interesting. Matthew and I are running a Kickstarter right now. We talked about this earlier.
This is
in the
great.
stream.
I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah.
If you do a Google search for Business Journal Kickstarter, the first result is on Kickstarter. It's our business journal that we're launching right now. That's great. That's one of the benefits of being on Kickstarter. The second result, though, is our YouTube video, How to Back the Pocket Business Journal on Kickstarter.
That's been out for like 2 days,
yeah,
3 days.
That's less than a week old.
And I challenge you to release a page on your website and get it onto page 1 on Google in 2 days.
Yeah. That's
Good
hugely
luck.
impactful.
Good luck.
And what that is we put the content out in Google's ecosystem, and then Google made it easy for people to find that content.
Imagine that.
So there's a ton of value to being on the platform that I really don't think you can overstate. How does 2H Media use YouTube?
We use
that's one
a
example,
ton.
but we use it a ton.
So we have our channel.
Yep.
We release a ton of how-to content on that channel. We release the stream on that channel. We've got Shopify AMA content on that channel. We use it to house all of our all of our video assets on YouTube, and then we embed those on our website. We put those out in LinkedIn posts. We put those out in email marketing. We drive it. It's the house.
Yeah.
It's the house where all the video resources live, and we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of views.
Yep.
On that content.
And it supports other things, right? We've got a video nurture series where every video we put up on YouTube, that turns into an email, a social media post, a web page.
I've got clients that will email me after the content has gone out, and they'll be like, that video was hilarious. They won't put a comment, but they'll email. You guys are great. Yeah. They're not from who you expect. It's absolutely hilarious. And it just goes to show you that people are actually watching and engaging with it. So we use YouTube a lot.
Yeah.
We have advertising on YouTube. Like we have display ads going up on YouTube. It is a great tool. There is great targeting on that tool. There are great analytics on that tool. Yeah, we use a ton of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot. We do not have any.
Now YouTube's been a really good fit for us. What kind of businesses should be on YouTube?
Oof. What businesses shouldn't be on YouTube? What should?
Yeah. Product businesses for sure.
Product businesses for sure. I see so much content about even so I was in the trades for 11 years. I see electricians, I see mechanics, I see tons of people that are like, oh, I'll show you how to change an alternator. And it's like somebody in their garage filming off a camera, and there are people that are teaching people how to tie a tie. There are people showing you how to install a sink or a toilet, or they're filing. Like there's tons and tons and tons of content out there that's educational, that's funny, that's food critic, like everything. There's there's no free lunch on YouTube. It is a fully developed ecosystem. There's not there's a gap. There's everything there. It's the same as a Google search.
So let me actually answer that question a different way then. What type of businesses should be on YouTube? Businesses that have the bandwidth to approach YouTube consistently.
Yeah,
because
that's true of every platform. But yeah,
right. But if you're not going to do one video and it's going to go viral and your company's going to suddenly make tons of money, that's not realistic most of the time. Yeah. But if you can release consistent, impactful content, that can do a lot for you. That can be a sales channel. That can improve your sales through your other channels by building confidence with your audience. There's a really interesting statistic. Web pages with video on them are more likely to convert even if people don't watch the video.
By a huge percentage.
Yeah.
It's like,
we're not going to get into the percentage.
It's a
you don't
lot.
remember it.
I don't remember. It's a lot.
But
it's not like 6%. It's a lot of percent. We have clients that are like, great, they sell seafood and they've got cooking tutorials on how to cook lobsters and how to descale fish and how to do like all of the things, because why would they not want to teach their customers how to use their products? There's a ton of it. Obviously, with a global platform, you are going to attract an audience beyond potentially your service area. I don't think that's bad. If you're going to get a bunch of people that comment on your stuff, even though they can't become a customer, that's just giving you more eyeballs. Who doesn't want more eyeballs? Period. So yeah, consistency. You need to be familiar with putting out video content. There's lots of content creators out there that don't have $80,000 of camera equipment. They've got a decent microphone and a modern cell phone and a well-lit location, and that's it. And they just do it on the regular, and that's cool. So it's really, really hard in today's society to get out of a video aspect somewhere. That's normally the discovery tool. YouTube Shorts are just as impactful as Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
It really is. Now YouTube, they do really release demographics on YouTube. The platform does skew a little bit male, but that changes over time. They give you all that information. So like if your audience was not on YouTube, you should always investigate that before you dive in. But by and large, there's going to be a community there.
I think we're mixing up some numbers here because I'm not finding the specific number on how many people are more likely to convert if they didn't watch the video, and I suspect that's much lower than you think it is. When a video is present on a landing page, conversion has been found to increase by 80 to 300%.
8,300.
80 to 300.
80 to 300. Okay.
So having video on the page can increase conversion by 80% to 300%. That's huge. But that's not specifically people who didn't watch the video.
I think that
so when you say it's the not 6%, I don't know what the number is for people who didn't watch the video.
I have to actually find it. We talked about it enough. I think it came through Shopify.
I tried to validate it because as soon as we say a number like it's not 6%, well now I want to make sure that's true before we actually.
Next stream I'll have that. I'll have that number because I think I'll find it, or if I can't find it, I'll just say can't find it. But yeah. On that note, any businesses any actual business categories that you would recommend to stay away from YouTube? So consistency aside, are there categories of business that should stay away from sharing video content? I'm trying to think of one.
It's tough. I mean, like
realtors, bankers.
Like even if you go to the extreme, even if you run like a funeral service, and people like don't want to be reminded of like sad times in their lives, and like you can't show off any real people because you can't show off and you can't show fun and you can't show off anything real because you don't want to invade the privacy of your customers. That doesn't mean you can't share educational content about like
the whole thing.
Yeah, the process.
It'll be a stressful time in your life. We're going to guide you through it. We're going to have trust. We're going to like show your people.
Well, even outside of like being that directly salesy, you can talk about like that industry as a whole because there are still people who will be interested in how the industry works, what they're actually paying for, what certain terminology even means in the space. I don't know. It's not an industry, thankfully, that I'm super familiar with.
There's still a market there, though.
But there's still a market there, right? Like, and that's a pretty extreme example.
Yep.
Most businesses can have a YouTube presence.
If the business is a legal business selling, you can.
That's it. What kind of videos perform on YouTube? And this is our like last question on this topic.
Well, the kind of video. Well, I was watching actually a Mr. Beast thing about this. He's breaking down like obviously he knows the platform quite well, and like take in mind like he's in the entertainment space, so this isn't like going to be true across all business categories, but like thumbnails that are going to attract an audience that pop out when you click the video. You're immediately into like thumbnail content. So if they like said like, oh, we're gonna crack 1,000 eggs on your head, like the first couple of seconds you should be seeing eggs and you should be seeing the whole thing. So like, and that's true of like making a click on a website anyways. That's like, you should be directly doing that. You need a strong hook in the first little chunk of the video to actually get people interest.
It also depends on how you're measuring performance. So like, a perfect example is we used to do a ton of videos that performed really well on YouTube in terms of views and engagement.
Tons of comments.
And we haven't been creating those videos because they were a ton of work and they didn't drive sales.
Yeah, they didn't meet our business goals.
right?
They met
Now,
platform, yeah.
this video will not perform on YouTube. The full stream will not perform on YouTube. The clip of this talking point will not perform on YouTube,
But
but it's not intended to.
yeah,
Right? This has other business purposes that are served for us because it's going to get shared with our audience that is already engaged
Yeah.
and more likely to get value out of the content, more likely to engage with it. You know, we broke such a big rule at the start of this stream because our first discussion topic was just talking about a Kickstarter that we're running and telling people about the product. Like, that's straight into sales. And if we were just trying to get this video to perform organically on YouTube, that probably wouldn't be successful.
no.
And I've seen our viewer count spike up and down a little bit throughout this stream. When we first started the stream, we had a couple of viewers, and I saw that number drop a little bit when we got about 5-10 minutes into our first talking point, which was just selling a product that
Yep.
we worked on. But that's okay, because that content
Was not designed. Yeah.
was not designed for YouTube. And if we wanted to make this video perform better on YouTube, one of the things we could have done that would have helped a little bit, because this format doesn't really perform on YouTube for us to begin with. One of the things we could have done is made that discussion topic second. You know, we could have talked
We could
about
have with something exciting first,
Yeah.
flashy.
and then like bring it into like the ad for Sprint Point after the fact. Except that the way we produce these videos, this gets chopped up into 4 segments, and those segments get sent to our email newsletter in the order that the content came out.
Yes.
So that ad,
Yep.
that ad segment where we were just talking about Sprint Point, that was put first in the video, so that when this released to our newsletter, it would release early enough in the month that it's still going to catch people while the Kickstarter is live.
Yes. So like yeah, we and this is what you should be looking at if you're going to be expanding into video assets anyways, is like clearly defined goals on what they're going to do, because not every tool is going to meet your goals, but it's going to have additional purposes. So that's completely fine.
Yeah.
Videos that perform on YouTube typically
Like I said, we say it depends on your goals.
depends on the goals.
So if your goals are very conversion focused,
Yep.
videos that are very direct,
Mm-hmm.
and probably look like they're not performing, because
Yes.
their viewer metrics are going to be horrible because they're not built for YouTube performance in the sense of just like becoming an
Yeah,
internet
YouTube
celebrity.
wants you to watch an hour worth of content so they can serve you 40
Yeah.
ads. This is So yeah, you goal, like again, the kind that perform is the really the kinds of videos that perform on YouTube, like platform specific, are
like-
meeting platform goals.
So you're saying if your goal is to just get a lot of views on the platform, so you're
Yes.
you're saying you're
If
changing
you're-
the goalpost. So it's, if performance means receiving a lot of views on YouTube, getting a lot of likes, getting a lot of contents, what kind of video is gonna meet those goals?
Yeah, flashy thumbnail, strong hook in the beginning, a longer runtime,
Interesting or informational.
information.
So like our guides have done really well.
They're a
We're
little
showing people how to do specific things on Shopify.
The
They're
titles
not
are very,
especially interesting.
but there's high
they're-
search for them.
They're informational, like, and then the information is not just hey, buy our product. It's like about how to
Teaching.
do something specific. I watch a
yeah.
ton of content on YouTube that's just by personalities that are enjoyable.
Yeah. So it really depends. That one's a really big mixed bag, but again, the platform itself is fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
we like
I
it.
don't- Yeah.
If you're not on YouTube, you should be on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're a relatively large company and you've got like healthy budget to kick off some video production, but you don't have an internal team that can put that together for you, that's
us a
something
call.
we'd love to help you with. Yeah.
Yep, we do- we do
love
it.
doing video work. You may have noticed that our sound quality is a little better this stream, or a little worse this stream. I won't actually know for sure until I've reviewed it in post-production. But from our early tests, it seems like it should be a little better because we've changed our microphone setup
Fingers
a little
crossed.
bit.
We did test, but yeah.
Yeah. But you
Yeah.
always get more information out of a full like hour-long stream than out of the short tests that we do when we're just checking gear. And it's our own stream, so it's not the end of the world if it's not like
Yes.
crystal clear and perfect audio. Because when we bring this tech out to a client shoot,
That needs to be.
we'll have this history to know some of the ins and outs. So
read
with
us
that,
out. Read us out.
yeah, man.
Read us out.
Yeah, like I said, if you'd like us to help you with some video work, we'd love to talk with you. If you have any questions about your marketing in general, the technology you're using in business, heck, even what grants are available in the Canadian ecosystem, we would love to have a chat with you. I would encourage you to book a free strategy session with one of our experts. We'll take the time to get to know your business, develop a plan that makes sense for you, and answer your burning questions so that you can move forwards with confidence and clarity. If that sounds impactful, then book a strategy session. And in the meantime, thanks for watching.